What is up, YouTube? It's your boy Millsy, back with Hometown Commander, back for the return of Let's Get Brawlin, the show where I play some either standard or historic brawl for you, or I guess now it's Brawl and Standard Brawl. But today we are playing Brawl because my episode for Phineas with Hare Apparent came out today on the channel. I wanted to try to sync up a little bit when we can. So I started this video by playing Phineas Hare Apparent. Didn't love it. Switched over to Buxton. Didn't really love it either. And I decided, well, what if we come back to Mono White, play something like Delney, which is going to double up our triggers. And that's what we decided to end on. Delney, Hare Apparent. Delney says that creatures with power 2 or less can't be blocked by creatures with power 3 or greater. And then if a creature we control with power 2 or less triggers an ability, it triggers again. Playing 38 Hare Apparents, a cast of cards to try to support it and do the best we can. And that's what we've got up for you today. If you haven't played a Delney Hare Apparent deck, they're very interesting, and I'm going to be honest, I didn't love a lot of this process. I get why these decks exist, and it's fun to show them off, but it is definitely not something I'd play for myself. I tried to accumulate some games for you. I hope you enjoy the games that I put together. Some wins, some losses. I was trying to be realistic about this deck and not just show you the good. I want to show you the bad and the ugly on this show, because I think it's important to talk about when we lose as well instead of just when we win. We want to show the deck working. And for a deck like this, I'll warn you that your experiences want to be the two things. You're going to be the mid-range deck you hope to be, and your bunnies are going to run over your opponent, or your opponents are going to remove your bunnies, and the game is over. I just don't want to be a channel that lies to you as the viewer and tells you this is the best deck I've ever played, or this and that. I think I want to be realistic, help you guys understand what you're looking into if you're going to brew a deck like this, and have some fun. So check out the games. Let me know what you think down in the comment section below, and we'll catch you in the next one. Delney Hare Apparent, baby. You love it or you hate it. This time we got the matchup with Arabella. Not a bad starting hand. Lay down arms for a little bit of removal. We got plenty of rabbits. We got the 3 mana we need to get Delney now. This looks like a good hand. Again, our goal is to swarm the board with rabbits, get the party going, and get in for combat. I think in this matchup, at least, this is going to be a very, very interesting matchup because Arabella, right, very much a aggro to mid-game type deck like we are. Target mana value less than or equal to the number of planes you control, which is 2. I guess we'll just remove Arabella here. Get the pushback. And then I think we go turn 3 Delney, turn 4 play 2 Hare Apparents, and we can see what comes of it. This could be a situation where they may just decide to scoop, depending on what they choose to do. I think it's a truth sometimes on Brawl, things don't go the player's way, and they immediately decide to scoop her up. But let's put Delney down. That way next turn we can get a double Hare Apparent trigger. I love drawing the flare there, a way to protect the board by just sacking a white creature that isn't a token. That's a great way once we get our board functionally set up, we can get it going. Now here I do expect Delney could get removed. I mean, they are playing red. Delney's toughness is 2, so there's definitely plenty of ways for red to have some nice cheap removal for that, but we do it there. Ooh, Banner's a great thing to lead up to. So we're just going to double Hare Apparent here. First Hare Apparent, unfortunately, not going to get us any love. The second one's going to get us a couple. Again, we don't want to attack because the Gatekeeper can block Delney. So unfortunately, no good there. All right, well, the Sunwing's definitely a great play from them, forcing all our bunnies to come in tapped. And they're going to keep this impact train running. I think what I'd love to do is if I draw a 5th land, I'd love to go, Hare Apparent into Hare Apparent this turn, next turn into Banner, and I think we'd be in really good shape. Now, if they do find a way to mass board wipe here on their turn, I think we're happy to even let Delney go to cast that Flare of Fortitude. But at this point, I mean, we're looking at a huge attack when we untap. So the flare can protect us from any sort of damage-based board wipes. Of course, with them being in white, we obviously can't save it from things like Farewell. But all right, we come back to our turn. Man, the Banner would have been ideal. But that is okay. I think the answer is Caretaker's Talent. Make a copy of one of the rabbits, maybe? To get us some card draw. Again, we want to try to draw into this land, and guess they could try to, oh, I was going to say, they could try to remove the token, right, in response to the copy. But there we go. Perfect. So now we've got the banner online for next turn. I think if I go all out, they block one of the rabbits, we get a ton of damage in. I don't think we're worried about blocking at the moment, and I'm okay if they kill a hare. Okay, so they're going to come in, try to block a couple of the rabbit tokens, which for the record makes a ton of sense this turn. I mean, I have no response to these tremor triggers, which makes sense. They could double block a Hare Apparent here if they wanted to. They could take out a couple rabbits, but again, I think I'm willing to let a Hare Apparent go. We're doing what, 18 damage this turn. We've got the flare to protect the board. Our hope now is just that they don't create too many tokens. I mean, 6 damage on board is a big deal, right? That means 10 left. If they have a way to make a ton of tokens, we might be in trouble. But if not, I mean, this banner is just going to win us the game next turn. So I think this is a good scenario, probably an average scenario for this deck. You either make it in time or you don't make it in time. So let's see what our Arabelle opponent has for us. Heroic Interventions is going to be a problem. That is going to be lethal, unfortunately. 3, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. Only 14, but the damage from the tremors is going to do it. So I think what I have to do here, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. I have to flare here, I think. Well, actually, I don't even think I need to flare, right? I can just give up Delney. 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, right? I'm only taking 11. And that should mean lethal on the backswing, unless they have any plan to stop me. And they don't. Yeah, saying that's lethal. Obviously, we could play the banner, but wow, what a good matchup. Those are the matchups I think you want to see with this deck, as those tight matchups where can you protect your board? Do you block at the right time? I think if we had kept maybe one hair back up, maybe we could have had a safer block right on that one. But good first win for us. Let's jump into the next one. Let's get brawling, baby. Playing some Delney Hare Apparent. This time we see Evelyn the Covetous. Commander, I'm going to be honest, I haven't seen in a while. Wants to have vampires enter so they can steal our cards. So this is going to be a very interesting matchup because obviously if they steal a couple of Hare Apparents, we're going to be in trouble. But got some laydowns for arms, some good removal. I really like Karmic Justice as a way to pay our opponents back a little bit for their removal. But I think we're going good. Another Hare Apparent is great. I think we'll just keep rocking. I don't mind the idea of a Hare Apparent here, but I'm worried that it's just going to get... Oh, didn't mean to play it, but that's okay. I'm worried that it just gets blown up probably, but I don't mind setting at least one out there. Okay, so here is the portion where I expect that if I play Delney here, Delney might get blown up. I mean, I think it would make the most sense of the two creatures to blow up, especially with its potential. And we see the Baleful Mastery. Hey, they give us a card for it, which we'll happily take. That gives us another Hare Apparent. I don't mind that, because, I mean, next turn if we draw an island, a plains, we can double Delney, or a doubled Hare Apparent, so I don't mind that. But we do draw the Raise the Past, which is great. I think I'll just get Karmic Justice down here, make my opponents think twice about removing our stuff if they remove... Oh, it's a non-creature permanent we control. RIP. Alright, well, we'll have to take Karmic Justice out, but that's a-okay. I thought it said creature that puts weapons when you don't read the card. So we'll have to take Karmic Justice out and remember something else. We have the Raise the Past, which is a card we want to see. Great combo, bringing all creatures with power value 2 or less from our graveyard back to the battlefield. So they can remove the hair here. I think I'll just get rid of the Karmic Justice now that we know it doesn't work the way we want it to. Another land would have been ideal. That's okay. We'll get in at the Nicol Bolas. It can still destroy one of them, but that's okay. My main goal here is to try to get rid of the Evelyn if we can. What do we exile? I guess a Hare Apparent. It's kind of not ideal, but very good choice from them on that. If they play Evelyn, I really can't do much in response. I mean, this isn't going to be able to do it. We have to pitch a card. Well, we'll pitch the Hare Apparent. We don't mind pitching one. Because we have to Raise the Past, right? So we don't mind pitching another one. They've got to find a way to block. Okay, yeah. Great. But we'll lay down the to play a Hare Apparent. We can get rid of the Nicol Bolas this turn. Hit in for some damage. I mean, we're in the world of board wipe territory, but the nice part, right, about Raise the Past is we want them to go to graveyard because we can get them back. So that's, I think, our big hope at the moment is maybe we can get them to wipe the board and bring all these Hare Apparents back. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of haste enabling, right, in our colors, but that's a-okay. So this is where I think we're going to have some trouble. Whew, okay. So only a Plains. We'll take it. That could have been a lot worse, right? Could have been the Hare Apparent. Thoughtseize for the Raise the Past. So unfortunately, nothing I can do about that. That's a very unfortunate, but a part of life. I guess we'll get Delney down. I guess I can attack here. I would get, what, 7 in? Evelyn takes a Hare Apparent out. I think my problem in this scenario is I can see the logic for not attacking because Evelyn can just block one of the Hare Apparents. And I see the logic for attacking, but I feel like if I don't attack, I'm just going to get the board blown out anyway. They exile 3, hitting 3 Plains. So thankfully we get to escape a little bit of that. But the truth is, I think now we need something like Heraldic Banner or Banner of Kinship to push through this board state. I think otherwise we're just in a ton of trouble. Because, I mean, they're just... Evelyn's just going to outvalue us at this point. We see Reprieve. Okay, so a little bit of removal. So I can attack here, and I'm really only getting 5 in. I could force all 5 at the Ugin if I decide that Ugin's the problem. I guess the -3. I do this, they may block one with their mana, their spirit. But we get rid of Ugin. And I guess we can hold up this Reprieve for maybe something that they cast. Maybe as a way to shut down a big removal spell or a big board wipe. See, Portal seems like the perfect thing to stop. At least shuts them back a turn. And there's the banner. Okay, so we may be in good shape depending on what else they have in their hand. I think banner's going to help us a ton. The ideal draw here, right, would be Hare Apparent into the banner. Okay. I was going to say that would have been ideal. But that's okay. We pick Rabbit. Ideally, what's going to happen here is lethal, unless they have any other way to stop this. I don't think Evelyn has lifelink, so unless they have some 1-mana removal, we might be able to squeak one out here, but let's see. I mean, removal for the banner would probably also do it. Yeah, removal for the banner would be brutal. What 1-mana way would you have to take out the banner? Nothing I can think of. Taking out one of the bunnies would help. Right, it would only be 10 instead of 14. And a 1-mana Cyclonic Rift? Did they have another mana up? Did I miss that? Well, either way, we're dead to the portal. But, all right, well, that is going to do it for that one. I think we're pretty much dead there, and we'll move on to the next. Playing some Hare Apparent Delney. This time we get Joyra, Ageless Innovator. A commander that wants to tap itself to put artifacts down. I like this hand. We've got the 3 mana for Delney. We've got lots of Hare Apparents. I think the goal here is to try to go Hare Apparent into Delney into double Hare Apparent if possible, but we'll see what our opponent has for us. They're in red, so they could have some damage-based removal. Unfortunately, with Joyra having 2 power, it means no good attack here with Hare Apparent. Remember that only creatures of power 2 or less can block our creatures, so obviously, Joyra could free block that Hare Apparent, and we definitely don't want her to do that, at least at the moment. So let's see what we see. We see no response from our opponent, which makes me think we could have a counterspell here, but let's work our way into it. Nope. I think I will dumbly, blindly follow my way into this, make a bunch of rabbits. I think this is the only thing we can do, right? This is what our deck tries to do, and that's all we can do. And so it looks like they're going for the Thundering Falls, probably to try to see if they can get into something. I don't really want to attack with the Hare here because I think I just basically lose it, right? If I just attack with the Hare, I just lose it. I get a Ghost Vacuum. Okay, so can exile some cards from the graveyard. Probably makes a ton of sense, right? If they could wipe the board, they could, right, Ghost Vacuum and start vacuuming up all of our Hare Apparents to get good access to them. Key to the Archive, great card there, allowing them to get a card from the spellbook. Could be something brutal. I mean, there are board wipes in the Archive. There's a lot of things, so not bad at all. Ill-timed Explosion is probably going to be brutal. With the Ghost Vacuum, they can start picking off those Hare Apparents, so not even anything like our Raise the... We'd probably pretty much have to draw the Raise a Past right now to really come out of the other way of that. I think all we can do is rebuild. Obviously, the Ghost Vacuum is just going to start picking off the Hare Apparents from our graveyard, but that's a-okay. I think our only hope now is to continue to rebuild. That Ill-Timed wasn't the card they took off of the key, so the question is, what did they take off the key? I mean, there's a lot of great options in that Archive, so we'll see. I mean, getting to tap this time to get 6 is going to be tough. I mean, I can think of a lot of great artifacts with 6 mana or more. I mean, ideally, right, Joyra works up to something like Portal Phyrexia, right, a big top-end artifact. All right, 2 damage to Hare Apparent and drawing 2. Of course, digging for another artifact to put down. Pitching Demonic Tutor, which was the thing they got off of the Archive. So maybe they've found the artifacts they already want for when Joyra hits even bigger. Steel Citadel, Thought Monitor, drawing a couple cards. Okay. So they're working their way up. Next turn will be 8. I mean, I think, unfortunately, our game plan's kind of set in stone. I would love to do something different, but the truth is our deck does one thing, and it's play rabbits. So we kind of just gotta... I guess there's an argument where we Delney that turn to prep for double Hare Apparent the next turn, but I just have a gut feeling that we may just be dead here to the Joyra. I don't really see a world where she can't find a way to deal. I mean, she's got 9 mana as it is. I mean, that's perfect Portal Phyrexia, big stuff. Surge Engine. Basically just going to work its way up, which is okay. I mean, we aren't going to probably plan to block the Surge Engine anyway. I'm trying to think of what in our world we can do to get out of this. I mean, I guess there's Delney. This would stop Surge Engine from... Stop Surge Engine. I mean, I feel like I have to attack. Surge Engine can't block. We get 6 damage in here. I mean, the truth of the reality, and this is, I'll be 100% honest, what I've found so much playing this deck, and why I have so much mixed emotions about this deck, is this is the average situation this deck gets itself into. And I think the Mindslaver probably knocks the game down. Yeah, I think that's probably where I'm going to call this one. So we'll hopefully move on to the next one, try to get a better game, but nothing we could do there to push our value through. Playing some Hare Apparent with Delney. This time we're facing up against Coma World Eater. Given a 4 Hare Apparent hand with a Season of the Burrow. Really would like to see another land, so I think we're going to risk it. Okay, no Hare Apparents, but we got some removal. I feel like it won't be a bad idea to try to stop Coma getting up to its big big mana that it needs, you know, taking out its mana drawers and things like that. I mean, ideally we want the Hare Apparent. And for the record, this is the first time I've ever seen a hand that hasn't had a Hare Apparent in it. So very interesting. I mean, this could just end up being bad gameplay, but we'll see. The Get Lost, the Fateful does give us some options for removal. Let's see what we can get ourselves into. Sleight of hand, looking it through. So they're going to be trying to ramp their way up to that big 7 mana for Coma. We got the Kinship. We got Season of the Burrow, which can get rid of some things. But I think we just leave it here. We're working our way up to Delney. Deck has 37 Hare Apparents in it, so almost half of our deck left. I think we'll just try to Delney. I could see a world where it gets countered, but we are playing blue and we are playing Brawl, so there's always a chance to have your commander countered. Stern Scolding, okay. That's fine. Put Delney back in the zone, perfectly okay. We don't mind them wasting it on Delney for the moment. I mean, as much as I want to put another Hare Apparent down, I feel like we should save some mana. Let's try it. I was going to say it could get countered, but it didn't. So we'll pass through. I mean, we've got some removal for a creature if they try to put a creature down this turn. We do have removal for enchantment or planeswalkers as well, so we've got some interesting coverage. And they keep the mana up, huh? All right, well, we'll try to play another Hare Apparent. Could get countered. I guess we'll see what they're holding on to. Fading Hope to put it back in our hand. All right. There's still a good 1 mana off of Coma, and I feel like Coma's going to be the pain point that we're going to have to deal with. I have, I guess, technically ways to deal with it, but it's going to cost a ton of mana, right? At least 6 mana, right? Because of that Ward 4. I'm just trying to figure out what my plan is to deal with Coma. Love the idea of something like Banner, but I guess it is a possibility it gets countered. We could do something like Delney. The problem is if I leave mana up, I can't get rid of Coma the second it comes down because it has Ward 4. So I guess we just try to get something else down. And Delney sticks. Interesting. So no counter this time for the Delney. We do have enough. Hopefully, maybe we can draw another land, have enough mana to get rid of this Coma. Well, we do. It's not the most ideal way to pay a ton of mana into this to get rid of it, but I think our world is a lot better if Coma isn't on the battlefield than if it is, so we'll get in for 5 more. Banner would be about a bad option next turn if we have access to it. The Burrow isn't bad either, making a bunch of rabbits. I just worry that, well, I'm worried that I'm going to get something countered either way. So let's try Hare Apparent, see what happens. No stick at all. So we know creature spells aren't the problem. I'm just going to get in for the damage. Hold up, get lost in that. If they bounce the whole board back, that's the thing, I guess, for removal that I'm the most worried about. But I think what they're doing is they're waiting, right, for me to play something that's going to continue to push my board forward. But I think I'm content to just keep attacking unless they're going to do something about it. If they bounce my whole board back, I want to leave mana to replay my board, right? I don't want to go too far in to the point that I lose the ability to respond. I want to also keep mana up in case they flash something in. It gives me the option to get lost in a response or take out some sort of value engine. That way I'm trying to leave the mana up to deal with things instead of just going all in. Now, blue and green don't have any real way to fully destroy a board, right? We're in the wrong colors for that. But they have a lot of ways to bounce things back to our hand, to do different things. So I'm trying to stay cautious because I really don't want them to bounce everything back to my hand. They're at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They could have gotten to the 9th mana for Coma, but I guess the question there is this Coma going to be able to survive the board? But that's a win. We'll take it under our belt, and we'll move into the next one. Playing some Delney Hare Apparent up against Satoru, the Infiltrator, the Satoru from OTJ that cares about things coming in. No hares in the opening hand, so I think we have to pitch this one. I don't mind it. A little bit of removal of hares, some potential mass board wipe there and split up. I like the idea of something like this deck because it's something where I can attack and then eek. Okay, well, there's the Thoughtseize probably taking the Hare Apparent, I would imagine. But I guess they could also take the removal. I feel like seeing the Hare Apparent means that I'm a Hare Apparent deck, and maybe that's something that they don't feel is worthy to take, but there's probably a lot of good options there to take. Lay down arms, can get rid of a creature there. So we got 2 decent pieces of removal. Thoughtseize and Duress and Inquisition of Kozilek just very well expected in the formats that they're played, just with the way that the cards work. I actually didn't know Thoughtseize was in... Oh, that's right. Playing Historic Brawl, dummy. Of course it's legal in Historic Brawl. I say you have Duress, you have Inquisition of Kozilek, you have Thoughtseize, you have a couple more at 1 mana. It's one of those things where when you're playing black, you just sometimes have to expect the Thoughtseizes to happen because they're more than apparent, pun intended. Well, I think my plan is just to play another Plains and then lay down arms this... Oh, Store gets picked up for Bite Palm Ninja. This is kind of looking bad now because I'm sure it's the card they're going to take. I guess I can hold up the Aganjo. Yeah, that's not particularly good for me. I'm honestly not entirely sure what to do. I mean, I can hold up the Aganjo. I can hold up the Get Lost, but I feel like at this point they know about them. I'm probably just in a world of hurt. And I'll be honest, this is kind of the experience I've found with Delney so far. I'd love to know in the comment section if you found a better, some better games for Delney, because I feel like legitimately this is my experience almost every game. You either get there or you don't get there, and when you don't get there, it's just brutal. They take the Get Lost, so lots of that. I don't really want to block, so I guess the Aganjo's gone, or is it non-land card? Oh, it's non-land card. We're actually saved for once. I kind of expected them to be able to take the land, so shows how much I'm paying attention. I don't think that the game is necessarily over, but I think we're in... I mean, it is in my head, but I think there's always a chance where something gets better. Ledger Shredder, okay. Go for the throat on Delney makes a ton of sense. Stop me from getting the doubling ability. I guess they know about the Aganjo, so they can either play into it or they can play around it. It's their choice. We'll put Delney back. See another Hare Apparent. I guess I might as well. I have a tough time wanting to attack here, especially with not really good blocks in my favor, right? I think the problem now is it's just going to come down to can we outvalue the deck, and I worry that we're in trouble. So I can do this. If I do this and they have a response, Ledger Shredder dies, right? I think we have to get the Ledger Shredder out of here. If they have a response, they have a response. There's really not much I can do about it. We have to try. We have to do something to stop our opponents from just gaining that value. They're going to draw. The Ninja can't do anything to my hand. We just have to hope that we can stay relevant for a turn or two. I mean, big damage this turn, 10. Really see the point of playing Delney. I feel like Delney just gets removed, but let's play it. I mean, at least we have something to do. Drawn on the lock makes a ton of sense. Yep. All right, they got to deal with the board. Otherwise, they're in tough shape. They basically have to get rid of some creatures, or they have to put blockers down. Right? I mean, this could be the wind in our favor, right? Here on this one, I mean, even just playing Satoru will barely be enough to block and stay alive. So they're going to draw with the reconnaissance mission, try to find something else to do, and maybe this can squeak us in. They can always sack the Mind Stone. So they're going to crack the Mind Stone. With this, we may windfall our way into a win here. Let's see, because just the Satoru isn't enough at this point. They have to find removal, and they have to find. And they didn't find them out. I'll be honest. I'm very surprised. I hate to be that guy, but it's the truth. I'm very surprised we squeaked that one out. That was almost brutal the entire time. I mean, look at how much we lost. But we'll catch you in the next. Playing some Delney Hare Apparent into Obika, Splitter of Seconds. Not a bad hand. First, we got some removal. We've got some Hare Apparent. This is the one that when it deals damage, you can take the extra upkeeps. I think Calling Rabbit is probably going to tip my hand, but I think at this point in the world, you know that if someone's playing Delney, at least these days, it's probably Hare Apparent. I think that's pretty obvious. I don't think anyone's going to be shocked that I'm playing Hare Apparent. Well, let's try to run Delney out. It doesn't automatically survive, but I think it's worth trying. We could potentially try to double Hare Apparent on our turn. 3 mana and perfect colors for removal. All right, well, let's double Hare Apparent. We've got the Raise the Past to potentially get some Hare Apparents back if they die. So I guess that's what we're looking forward to, but I mean, they're trying to draw, right? I worry. I mean, there's a lot of things for 4 mana they can do. Damnation is legal? No, I don't think Damnation is legal, but there's a lot of other things that are legal in this format. That 4 mana that could wreck this board. Brotherhood's End, right? There's a lot of board wipes, even for less than 4. So we'll see what our opponent has access to. I think at this point, I can kind of hold out hope that this Raise the Past is enough to bring us back if they choose to do some. We do have something like the Split Up where we could fully attack and then split up to deal with our opponent's board. I'm just intrigued to see what they're going to do here with 4 mana. I guess there's the option if we get... Ooh. Nothing wasn't on my bingo card. Interesting. If I play this Hare Apparent, I am completely accepting that Raise the Past is my top end. So let's do it. Let's see what they have. I'm expecting removal. Doomblade on Delney. Yeah, I mean, that was probably going to happen. So I think we'll take it. Only getting 2 rabbits, but I think that's okay. And I think we just slam in, right? Getting rid of a Delney, right? Not ideal for us, but it's fine. I mean, the deck can function without Delney. It's just that Delney does so much for us. Again, the hope is something like Raise the Past really coming back, bringing all the Hare Apparents back and really helping us with getting them again. Just intrigued to see what we're going to do. Toxic Deluge for 3. Yeah, makes a ton of sense. So right now we would be raising back 3. I want to get rid of Magda. I might as well. Just try to stop them from accumulating anything. I feel like this is either going to win me or lose me the game. Either they have the response or they don't, right, at this point. So let's see. I mean, I expect they'll probably have some sort of removal. It's hard sometimes in Historic Brawl when you're playing against these decks, especially things like Grixis and Esper, because they tend to just be full of removal. Which rightly so, right? In a 1v1 format, removal is king, right? Removal is the thing that gets you card advantage. It's just, you know, when you're playing a deck that's trying to do one thing, you know, there's only so much you can do. So let's see what they have. I mean, they need something. Even 1 creature is not enough. Fatal Push on 1 Hare Apparent. Okay. Still lethal. Let's see what they have. Amphibian Downpour, making them, a couple of them into 1/1s. Okay. It's not great, but they are still Hare Apparents. So for the purposes of playing another Hare Apparent, I think they'd still make... I'm trying to decide, is Delney worth it? Oh, okay, they scoop it up. I was going to say attack for 8, and maybe they have something else, but we did it. We pulled it out, and maybe we'll be moving on to the next one.